Core Concepts for Open Architecture AV Design, Chapter 15. Troubleshooting. Our learning objectives are to visit the Symetrix website for resources regarding specifying, commissioning, and servicing Symetrix product installations, understand the uses for DSP Ethernet ports, and explain default behaviors with and without a DHCP server on the network. Define first steps for troubleshooting. Access the Composer built-in troubleshooting features. Use Symetrix Remote Terminal to diagnose communication problems between a third-party control system and Symetrix hardware. Get detailed information about all Composer-based products, features, and functions from the Composer help file. This chapter covers basic troubleshooting tips and tricks for Symetrix Composer, networking, and Dante. You may contact our technical support staff on the Symetrix website via the Services menu and clicking on Support Contact. The Library menu provides access to an extensive knowledge base of documentation available for download, including datasheets, schematics, quick start guides, tech tips, and more. Tech tips and video tutorials are an excellent first place to start, as we are always adding more guides to our already extensive collection. Additionally, our online training, links to both recorded webinars and live training signups, when available, are provided on our training page. Our user forum contains advanced technical information on Symetrix hardware and software features, as well as specialized programming tips and third-party intelligent modules. Of course, don't forget your training. The Core Concepts for Open Architecture AV Design training course is an excellent resource not only for the basics of operation, but also critical information for networking, file design, and more. It will remain accessible even after completion, so refer back to it as much as possible. The first step when troubleshooting is to make sure all firewalls, spam filters, and antivirus protection are turned off. This alleviates a potential variable in the form of security configuration that can halt communication between your PC and the AV system. All Symetrix DSPs contain Ethernet ports for control and configuration. The default setting for the ports is DHCP and are not set to a static IP from the factory. This means if there is a DHCP server on the network, the server will assign an IP address to each DSP. If no DHCP server is present, the DSPs will revert to their link local IP address on the 169.254.something class B subnet. Both the DSPs and the controlling, programming PC must be in the same subnet to locate each other. The best way to establish communication between a PC and the DSP is to make sure both devices are set to DHCP. This will typically put them on the same subnet automatically. All Composer-configured DSPs have a front panel display that will show its current IP settings. Scrolling through the menus will show more information such as subnet, Dante IP, firmware version, and so on. To confirm the IP address of the PC, use the Command Prompt window. To open the command prompt, click on the Windows Start button and type CMD. When running Windows 10 and 11, right-click the Windows Start button and choose Command Prompt or Terminal. Type ipconfig, then press Enter. The PC's IP configurations will be displayed under each network adapter. Note the IP address of the network adapter being used to connect to the DSP. Now verify the PC and the DSP are on the same subnet. If not, change the adapter settings to match the subnet of the DSP. If there are communication issues after verifying that the subnets are the same, ping the DSP from Command Prompt. To ping the DSP from Command Prompt, type ping and the IP address of the DSP, then press Enter. If there is a network connection between the PC and the DSP, a reply will be received showing ping times. The reply will also show how many packets were sent from the PC and how many packets were received by the DSP. If the response times out or says, "Destination host unreachable," there is no network connection with the DSP. Check cable connections and network switch settings and try again. If intermittent communication is experienced, disconnect the Ethernet cable connected to the DSP and send a ping to the same IP address again. A reply indicates there is a duplicate IP address on the network. Change the IP address of the DSP and the connection will be stable. This may require a more direct physical connection to ensure stable communication to set a static IP on the DSP. When troubleshooting Dante, one of the most powerful tools is Dante Controller. Dante Controller can be downloaded for free from Audinate's website at www.audinate.com. A user account is required. When having trouble receiving audio from a network receive bus, before opening Dante Controller, verify the source name inside Composer. Make sure the external network device name in the network receive module properties matches the device name being broadcasted on the Dante network. Make sure the audio channel names in the network receive module properties match the audio channel names being broadcasted on the network. Composer uses both the external Dante device network name and the channel names to create the Dante subscriptions. Double-clicking the name of a device in Dante Controller will open its device view. The Receive and Transmit tabs may be used to determine if a device is receiving or transmitting audio across the Dante network. From the Receive tab, the source device for each channel can be seen. From the Transmit tab, verify that channel is broadcasting onto the Dante network. If the transmitting device shows signal, but the receiving device does not, this means audio is making it onto the Dante network but is not being received on the other end. Double-check channel information or network configuration. The Status tab displays the manufacturer device information and Dante firmware information. The Status tab also displays the network interface details including IP address, MAC address, port speed, and transmit and receive bandwidth. The Latency tab displays the time it takes for a packet of data to get from one Dante device to another across the network. Latency is caused by several things, including damaged Ethernet cables, multiple switch hops, and other network traffic. Make sure the graph is displaying green bars in the report. Red bars indicate a latency problem on the network. The Device Config tab is used to check or change the name, sample rate, and latency settings of a device. Some Dante devices are compatible with multiple sample rates. Most Composer series hardware is fixed at 48K and cannot be changed. If the Dante IP address needs to be set or changed, this is done from the Network Config tab of the device view. Dante IP address cannot be changed from Composer. If there is trouble locating a device or Dante audio is not passing, open Dante Controller and check to see if the device appears on the Routing tab. If a device does not appear on the Routing tab, click on the Device Info tab. If a device is displayed with red text, there is a network IP conflict. Double-click the device and Dante Controller provides the information needed to resolve the conflict. The details here show us that the Dante device is on a different subnet than the other Dante devices. Placing the device on the same subnet as the other Dante devices has resolved the conflict. The Clock Status tab of Dante Controller is also a very helpful troubleshooting tool. Only one device per Dante network can be the leader. The leader can change from device to device, but only one can be assigned at a time. If more than one leader is listed, these devices are not seeing each other across the Dante network. In many cases, this may be caused by blocked multicast traffic. The Dante clock is multicast and all of the devices need to be able to send and receive clock packets to each other. Investigation of network settings is necessary to resolve this problem. This can include QoS, IGMP, Querier, and other settings. Disabling green Ethernet or energy-efficient Ethernet on the network switch may eliminate dropouts in Dante audio, and in fact, should always be disabled on a Dante network. Energy-efficient Ethernet can intermittently block Dante clock packets and result in audio loss. Extensive latency across the Dante network can also cause audio dropouts. Composer has built-in features to assist with troubleshooting a site file. One of these features is Trace Signal Path. This feature allows the path of a specific signal to be seen, either forwards or backwards from the wire you choose. To trace a signal path, right-click the wire to be traced, and select Trace Signal Path downstream or upstream. In the above example, downstream is the best choice as the module is at the beginning of the audio path. The color of the signal path changes to red so it can easily be followed. The trace will go through all modules including Dante buses. If the signal is muted at any point in the path, or the module is otherwise disallowing signal to pass, it will stop the trace for that section of the signal bus. This is very useful when diagnosing audio problems. Using the upstream option is useful when determining the source of a particular output and if that is either blocked or routed correctly. Other useful troubleshooting features in Composer are the selected wire meter and selected wire audio module. The selected wire meter provides metering and monitoring of the audio signal on any wire in the signal path. There are two main differences between the selected wire meter and selected wire audio module. The selected wire meter is a scale from -96 to 0 dBFS. The selected wire audio module has a scale from -72 to 0 dBFS. It also has an audio output node, which can be wired to any output, including a Dante transmit channel. This allows any selected wire in Composer to be monitored. The Show Dante Transmit or Show Dante Receive module in Composer makes it easy to jump directly to the corresponding transmit or receive unit in the site file. Right-click the Dante module, select Show Dante Receive or Transmit module to be taken to the corresponding unit module. Comparing two site files via a report is helpful when troubleshooting, especially when comparing against a known functioning file. Create one by navigating to Tools, Generate Report. Options for content, what to show and output type are configured here. Check or uncheck the desired content for the report. Having every box checked will provide the most detailed report. Selecting individual content will generate a more focused report containing only the selected content. Click Browse in the Output section. Then select the file name and location to save the report. In this example, the file name will be Room Combine Report v1.txt and will be saved on the desktop. A useful tool for comparing reports is the WinMerge software. The side-by-side text and highlighted changes make it very simple to identify the differences between the two site file settings. Open WinMerge and select the two report files to be compared. Browse for your reports in the corresponding areas, click the Compare button. There are three main sections: Location pane, Reports, and the Diff pane. The differences between the reports will automatically be highlighted in the Location pane and also in the reports. Scrolling between the differences is done by simply clicking on the desired section of the Location pane. Detailed information about all Composer-based products, features, and functions can also be found in the Composer Help file located in Composer under Help Topics. The Help file includes information such as our control protocol, which is helpful for setting up for control from third-party devices. Hardware behavior notes regarding LED indication, display notifications, and more. The Help file also includes in-depth descriptions of how modules function, which can give insight into how they can be used in different ways. Duplicate control numbers are a common problem when using control. The intentional use of duplicate control numbers is helpful when used to control multiple objects from a single control number. Like both of these faders with control ID number 1. Unintentional duplicate control numbers will create problems. For example, when an LED and fader have the same control number, the fader will jump to the top of its scale when the LED is active, then jump to the bottom when not active. Use the Remote Control Manager to identify and correct any unintentional duplicate control numbers. Symetrix Remote Terminal is a helpful application to use when there are communication problems between a third-party control system and Symetrix hardware. Remote Terminal can be found in the Tools menu of Composer software. Sending control commands to a DSP from Remote Terminal is a quick way to determine if the communication problem lies with the DSP. Though the title bar of Remote Terminal says Symetrix, it doesn't treat commands any differently than a third-party control system should and essentially turns the commanding PC into a third-party control node. If the DSP responds properly to Remote Terminal, but not to a third-party control system, the problem is more likely either with the third-party control, possibly the way it packages our control protocol strings, or the network in between. There are a host of other uses for Remote Terminal that can assist in diagnosing a problem. These include device diagnostics, Dante information, logging, and more. Another option for users is remote monitoring. This service provides real-time status of Symetrix systems and can send notifications to integrators if problems are detected. Additionally, custom commands can be sent to DSPs from a web browser to accomplish simple tasks such as recalling presets and cycling the power. AV Op Center's basic tier is included with the purchase of Symetrix hardware. Additional premium services may apply to specific use cases and be subject to additional cost. Using AV Op Center, you can monitor customer systems remotely and discover problems before end users notice. Proactively troubleshooting and solve issues. Travel to the site only when necessary and arrive with the correct personnel and gear to solve the problem. Entire organizations or campuses can be viewed from a single centralized portal. Standard monitoring features include online status, thermal status, mute all status, last recalled preset, device temperature, and device identification. Additionally, custom commands and data logging can be configured. The custom data send can be configured to scale a control value for specific units, establish high and low limits, and customize messages for high, low, and normal ranges. Command receive modules are based on a 0 to 100% scale. Devices can be claimed using the Remote Monitoring Manager. In summary, the Symetrix website provides resources for specifying, commissioning, and servicing Symetrix product installations, and it is the first best resource for troubleshooting. The first step when live troubleshooting is to ensure that factors outside of Composer and the Symetrix hardware are not contributing to the issue. Composer has built-in features to assist with troubleshooting a site file. Symetrix Remote Terminal is a helpful tool when there are communication problems between a third-party control system and Symetrix hardware. Detailed information about all Composer-based products, features, and functions can also be found in the Composer help file. It is the de facto user manual for the whole Symetrix ecosystem of products. AV Op Center allows remote monitoring and management of Composer-based DSP systems.